I don't understand how the camera works on this thing. It's all off and weird and screwy. Doesn't seem to ever like point in the right direction or anything. But apparently, Roxy is able to come with me tonight, so it's gonna be me and Roxy and Lady, maybe, and Blue and Bowie, and we're gonna have a dog walk tonight, I hope. And I'm gonna test out my new chest thing and see like how well. I mean, of course, this is a test run, so I gotta see like how it's gonna work. We'll see. I don't know. Shh! Don't tell anybody. I don't smoke on stream. Okay. So tonight we are going to explore once again the. You know what? I'm gonna use this other. I'm gonna use this thing right here because I have another book. Okay, so I use two books to get all my information from for these Norse myths. Some of it is actual real fact, and some of it is just myth. I use a combination of the two. So one of the books that I use is it's by Peter Jennings. It's called Northern Traditions, and it's actually a book basically about if you're thinking about becoming interested in uh, following the Norse. Well, I'll just put it over here. The Norse mythology, not the Norse mythology, but like following like the Norse. Um, I wouldn't say religion, but sort of like their way of life, their viewpoint, because it's a form of paganism, and it's basically, I mean, it's a, I mean, I obviously like, I mean, follow it, uh, somewhat. It's it's a combination of atheism and paganism. I don't take any of the stories seriously. Okay, I understand like that they are merely just like the Bible. They're merely just stories meant to sort of. Shoot, that ain't gonna work either. Guide us. Well, maybe if I put it up higher like that. Guide us in our lives, okay? I mean, that's the whole point of them. Is these aren't supposed to be taken literally. None of it's taken literally. Like the Bible isn't meant to be taken literally. Like it's all stories that are just sort of meant to guide us. And you know, I have nothing against other religions. I mean, I don't consider myself religious. The closest I come to being any sort of a religion would be like um, uh, I would say I can't remember his name. Shoot, man. Oh, um, uh, it was just on the tip of my tongue. Dang it, that frustrates me. I do this all the time. Uh, um, he wrote, Thus Spake Zarathustra, which I've read. Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche came up with a form of atheism that I follow, and I try and follow um, the Nordic ways, the Northern traditions, as in like being, having honor. When I make an oath, a promise, whatever, um, I I try to keep it. I take it seriously. Like if you know me, then you know like how far out of my way I will go to try and make sure that I keep my promises to you. Um, I have always been like that. See, there's okay. So here, this is a little history lesson on the northern traditions. So I mean, there's some people join groups and stuff like that. Da, 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 da. I do study the mythology runes, and I study the magic because I find the magic interesting. And I don't study the male magic. I study the female magic, which is the 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 drawing magic, basically the tattoo magic, the carving magic, the magic that uses runes. That's the magic that I'm interested in because I'm interested in tattooing it on me, basically. I'm always looking for people who are willing to tattoo runes on me at a good price. I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Uh, I have been contacted by 505, who is they're 505 Inc. or something like that. They do tattoos here in Albuquerque, but I think they're like really expensive, um, like way out of my price range. Like I'm more like the guy in his apartment who bought a tattoo gun from a pawn shop, and he knows how to draw pretty good, and his tattoos are decent, and he'll do any tattoo for like 25 bucks. That's my kind of tattoo guy. Like I don't go to shops. But so yeah, I was trying to give a little bit of a history lesson um, on the Norse, what I call the Northern traditions, which is like Norse traditions. Um, you know, we're very like the what we follow is different from paganism. It's different from Druidry, Wicca, all that because we don't separate the male and female. Male and female are equal in our beliefs, and you know this. I mean this is interesting stuff. I'll get to the book in just a second. My makeup for I'm sorry that I missed the build stream. I will do it tomorrow. I promise you that. Uh, I'm not a hardcore Odinist. I am, although definitely like um, uh, I don't know. I mean, my beliefs are, you know, obviously I interpret things my own way, just like anybody else does who studies this. Unless you are in some sort of a group and you have a set um, belief system within that group. That's why I can't join a group because I always end up getting in disagreements with people about it. Um, I think that my uh, tattoo on my chin and my explanation for what its meaning is perfectly fine. I think it fits perfectly well within today's world, and I think it's exactly what for me needs to be. And as I add more runes, I'm gonna or add some magic, obviously, to myself. I'm gonna make some bind runes that are magic. I don't believe in magic, but I like the idea of it. Um, I don't know how to explain it better than that. Um, I, I like I like the idea that words have meaning. Okay, that words have power, and so by creating a set of words that I engrave on my skin, It gives them like even more power. So I don't know how. I mean, studying. Um, you know what? Okay, I'm just talking too much and I'm not reading enough. I'm gonna just set this down uh, and read. It's called. So this one is called. This is a good one. I like this one. It's kind of a sad one, as like I said, but they're all kind of sad. So let's see here. Let me try and get this a little closer and a little more like that, so you can see me a little better. See my cigarette hanging out of my mouth like a fucking rock star. No, just look like any other scumbag with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. Okay, so what? No, 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 no. I got. I'm not in the right spot anymore. The meat of the poet, Thor's journey to the land of the giants. Wait, no, no, no. The master builder. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so Thor had gone east to fight trolls. Asgard was more peaceful without him, but it was also unprotected. This was in the early days, shortly after the treaty between the Aesir and the Vanir, when the gods were still making a home for themselves and Asgard was undefended. So this is right. So you got to realize this is right after they just got all those gifts from Loki that Loki had made for them, and so Thor. What Thor did was he, in order to sort of I don't know, do what Thor does, smash. Thor smash. That's what Thor does. I mean, he's not the brightest guy. I mean, you'll see as I keep reading this. Thor is not the bright man that he is in the comics or in the movies. Okay, he is a freaking moron. Okay, so Thor went out to Smash to show because he wanted to play with his new toy, his hammer, you know, Mjolnir. Uh, so so okay, this is what Odin says. We cannot always rely on Thor, said Odin. We need protection. Giants will come. Trolls will come. What do you propose? Asked Heimdall, the watchman of the gods. A wall, said Odin, high enough to keep out frost giants, thick enough that even the strongest troll could not batter its way through. Building such a wall, said Loki, so high and so thick, would take us many years. Odin nodded his agreement. But still, he said, we need a wall. The next day, a newcomer arrived in Asgard. He was a big man, dressed as Smith. Behind him trudged a horse, a stallion, huge and gray, with a broad back. They say you need a wall built, said the stranger. Go on, said Odin. I can build you a wall, said the stranger. Build it so high that the tallest giant could not climb it, so thick that the strongest troll could not batter through it. I can build it so well by placing stone upon stone that not an ant could find a space to crawl to a space enough to crawl through it. I will build you a wall that will last for 1,000 years. Hold on. I'm being a dick right now. I smoke American spirits. They go out all the time. All right. So I'm a fucking snob. Okay. I smoke American spirits. I grind my own coffee. I drink almond milk. like I am like I am the poorest snob you'll ever meet. Uh, I spend no money on myself. I spend money on the only things I ever spend money on are my friends and good food. That's it. Um, and my pets, my dogs. So, okay, so such a wall would take a very long time to build, said Loki. Not at all, said the stranger. I can build it in 3 seasons. Tomorrow is the first day of winter. It would only take me a winter, a summer, and another winter to build. And if you could do this, said Odin, what would you ask in return? I need little enough payment for what I'm offering, said the man. Only 3 things. First, I would like the beautiful goddess Freya's hand in marriage. That is not a little thing, said Odin. And Jade shut it. She gets so bitchy. That is okay. And it would not surprise me uh, if Freya, damn it, come on, stupid touch thing. I got this touch thing and it doesn't work half the time. It's old. Okay. And it would not surprise me if Freya had her own opinions about this matter. What are the other 2 things? The stranger grinned a cocky grin. If I build your wall, he said, I want the hand of Freya, and I also want the sun that shines in the sky by day, and I want the moon that gives us light at night. These 3 things are what the gods will give me if I build your wall. This guy, he is asking for everything. I mean, the sun, the moon, and Freya. Oh, and trust me, this does not end well. The gods looked at Freya. She said nothing, but her lips were pressed together, and her face was white with anger. Around her neck was the necklace of the brisings, which shone like the northern lights as it brushed her skin. And her hair was banded in gold, which was almost as bright as the hair, uh, itself. Oh, her hair was banded in gold, which was almost as bright as the hair itself, which means, okay, the gold doesn't shine anywhere near as bright as her hair, which is, of course, goddess like. Go and wait outside, said Odin to the stranger. The man walked away, not before asking where he could find food and water for his stallion, which was Svaldafari, which means one who makes an unlucky journey. Odin rubbed his forehead. Then he turned and looked at all the gods. Well, asked Odin. The gods began to talk. Quiet! Shouted Odin, one at a time. Each of the gods and the goddesses had an opinion, and every one of them was of the same opinion, that Freya, the sun, and the moon were all too important and too valuable to be given to a stranger, even if he could build the wall they needed in the 3 seasons. Freya had an additional opinion. She felt that the man should be beaten for his, for his impertinence, then thrown out of Asgard and sent on his way. So, said Odin the Allfather, we are decided. We say no. There was a dry cough from a corner of the hall. It was the kind of cough intended to attract attention, and the gods turned to see who had coughed. They found themselves looking at Loki, who stared back at them, and who smiled and held up a finger as if something important to divulge. It is worth my pointing out, he said, that you are ignoring something huge. I do not think we have overlooked a single thing, troublemaker of the gods, said Freya tartly. You are all overlooking, he said, that what this stranger is proposing is to do is, to make no bones about it, quite impossible. There is no one alive who could build a wall so high and so thick as the one he described to have it finished in 18 months. Hold on. Not a giant or a god could do this, let alone a mortal man. I would stake my skin on it. Oh, Loki's gonna regret that one too. At the end of this, at this the gods all nodded and grunted and looked impressed. All of them except for Freya, and she looked angry. You are fools, she said, especially you, Loki, because you think yourself clever. What he says he can do, said Loki, is an impossible task. So I suggest this. We agree to put his demands and we agree to his demands and to his price, but we set him stiff conditions. He may have no help building his wall, and instead of 3 seasons to build his wall, he has but 1. If on the first day of summer any of the wall is unfinished, and it will be, then we pay him nothing at all. Why would he agree to that? Asked Heimdall. And what advantage would that give us over not having a wall at all? Asked Freya's brother. Loki tried to suppress his impatience. Were all the gods fools? He began to explain, as if he were explaining to a small child. The smith will begin to build his wall. He will not finish it. He will work for 6 months unpaid. A fool's errand. At the end of 6 months, we will drive him away. We might even beat him for his presumption. And then we can use whatever he has done, so far as the foundations, the wall we will complete in the years to come. There is no risk to us of losing Freya, let alone the sun and the moon. Why would he say yes to building in a season? Asked Tyr, god of war. I like Tyr because he lost his arm. He has 1 arm. That's one of my favorite gods, Tyr, 1 arm. All the gods grunted and clapped Loki on the back and told him that he was a very crafty fellow, and it was a good thing that he was crafty on their side. And now they would get their foundations built for nothing. And they congratulated each other on being intelligent and their bargaining ability. Freya said nothing. She fingered her necklace of light, the gift of the Brisings. This was the same necklace that had been stolen from her by Loki in the form of a seal. And when she was bathing, uh, when she was bathing, and that Heimdall had fought in seal form with Loki to return to her. She did not trust this Loki. She did not care for the way this conversation had gone. The gods called the builder into their hall. He looked around at the gods. They all seemed in good humor, grinning and nudging each other and smiling. Freya, however, did not smile. Well, asked the builder. You asked for 3 seasons, said Loki. We will give you 1 season, and 1 season only. Tomorrow is the first day of winter. If you are not finished on the first day of summer, you leave here unpaid. But if you have finished building the wall, as high and as thick and as impregnable as we have agreed, then you will be given everything you have asked for, the moon, the sun, and the beautiful Freya. You may have no help in the building of your wall from anyone. You must build this wall alone. I need to go drop this quick. Okay. The stranger said nothing for some moments. Let me get this so you can see me. There we go. The stranger said nothing for some moments. He stared away into the distance and seemed to be weighing Loki's words and conditions. Then he looked at the gods and he shrugged. You have said I may have no outside help? I would like my horse, Svaldefari, to help me haul the stones here, the stones I will use to build the wall. I do not believe this to be an unreasonable request. It is not unreasonable, agreed Odin. And the other gods nodded and told each other that the horses were good for hauling heavy stones. And told each other that horses were good for hauling heavy stones. They swore oaths then, the mightiest of oaths, the gods and the stranger. Whoops. Oh, shit. Dang it. Not good. I just got my brand new screen um, glass. One of the dogs broke it when I was on the walk. That won't happen again because I got my new thing, and it looks like it's going to work really well. The strain. Okay, so uh, that neither side could betray the other. They swore on their weapons, and they swore on Draupnir, Odin's golden arm ring, and they swore on Gungnir, Odin's spear, and an oath sworn on Gungnir was unbreakable. Got to remember that was one of the conditions that was created by the dwarves. That the spear Gungnir, any oath sworn upon it was unbreakable. The next morning, as the sun rose, the god stood to watch the man work. He spat on his hands and he began to dig the trench into which the first stones would go. He digs deep, said Heimdall. He digs fast, said Freya's brother. Well, yes, obviously he is a mighty digger of ditches and trenches. Said Loki grudgingly. But imagine how many stones you'll have to haul here from the mountains. It is one thing to dig a trench, it is another to haul stones many miles unaided, and then to place them one stone upon the next, so tightly fitted that not an ant could crawl between them, higher than the tallest giant, to make a wall. Freya looked at Loki with disgust, but she said nothing. When the sun set, the builder mounted his horse and set off for the mountains to gather his first rocks. The horse dragged an empty stone boat behind it and a low sled that it pulled across the soft earth. The gods watched them leave. The moon was high and pale in the early winter sky. He will be back in a week, said Loki. I'm curious to see how many rocks that horse can haul. It looks strong. The gods went to their feast hall, and then there was much merriment and laughter, but Freya did not laugh. It snowed before dawn, a light dusting of snowflakes, a presentiment of the deep snows that would come further into the winter. Heimdall, who saw everything approaching Asgard, and who missed nothing, woke the gods in the darkness. They gathered by the trench the, the stranger had dug the previous day. In the gathering dawn, they watched the builder walking beside his horse, coming toward them. The horse was steadily dragging a score of blocks of granite, so heavy that the sled made deep ruts in the black earth. When the man saw the gods, he waved and called, "Good morning," cheerfully. He pointed to the rising sun and he winked at the gods. Then he unhitched his horse from the rocks and let it graze while he began to manhandle the first of the giant blocks into the trench he had already dug to receive it. The horse is indeed strong, said Balder, most beautiful of all the Aesir. Balder, most beautiful of all the Aesir. Yeah. No normal horse should be able to drag rocks that heavy. It is stronger than we imagined, said Kvasir the Wise. Now remember, Kvasir is the one who was killed earlier as blood was drained. Gods, they kept his body because sometimes they come back to life. So that's why you get him appearing again now. Even though his blood was drained to use and used to make the um, the meat of the poets. Uh, gods come and go. It's you got to realize this stuff was written. I mean, look at the Bible and all the discrepancies. So there's gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like they just kind of explain it away as gods come back sometimes. So, all right. Oops. Ah, said Loki. The horse will soon tire. This was its first day on the job. It will not be able to haul that many stones every night. The winter is coming. The snows will be deep and thick. The blizzards will be blinding, and the way to the mountain will be difficult. There is nothing to worry about. This is all going according to plan. I hate you so much, said Freya, who stood unsmiling beside Loki. She walked back to Asgard in the dawn, and did not stay to watch the stranger build the foundations of his wall. Each night the builder and the horse and the empty stone boat left for the mountain. Each morning they returned, with the horse dragging another 20 blocks of granite, every block larger than the tallest man. Each day the wall grew, and by evening it was bigger and more imposing than it had been before. Odin called the gods to him. The wall is growing apace, he said, and we swore an unbreakable oath, a ring oath and a weapon oath. And if he finishes building his wall in time, we will give him the sun and the moon and the hand in marriage of Freya the beautiful. Oh, okay. Um, I'm going to have to stop right here. My mom is home, and which means I need to help her with the feeding of the dogs and the supper and all that stuff. So I'm going to call this part one, label it that way, and I will start from the same spot. Um, let's see. Tomorrow I'm going to be building my PC. So when I'm done, I'm not going to be able to play games. I'll read some more, okay? Um, I should be able to finish the PC in a day and still have time to read. We'll see. Um, so, thanks everyone for watching, and I appreciate all of your help and all of your uh, um, patience with my schedule being so off lately. Um, lady, I got to get her to the vet on Thursday, and her being sick has thrown everything off, and it's not good. It's really hard on me. Okay, so just letting you know, like I'm not in the greatest of moods. I'm just good at hiding it. All right, have a good night, everyone, or a good day, or a good afternoon, or whatever. And I will post this up on YouTube so anybody who misses it can catch it.